I've been sharing with others about what you projected as far as the end of this bull run, how you think Kin could do a potential 100x or maybe 600x, like towards a half a penny to maybe 3 cents. What would you say? Like, I remember you did tell me your analogy about 25,000, 35,000% digibyte. If XRP could go up 75,000%, then it's realistically for kin because I was trying to explain that to other people, and I keep telling them, you know what, I don't know, I'm not good at math, but I don't know how, like, they were asking me, how does he calculate that, like, how do you calculate 25,000, 35,000% from when the volatility of crypto is it's hard. I don't know, but basically they wanted me to give them a math lesson, and I didn't know how to do that.
Well, look, a lot of this, like you said, is speculative. I mean, no one really has a crystal ball on these prices, but all we have to go by is historical information, historical data, right? Historical numbers. I mean, look, I remember I was buying Digibyte, when it first came out in 2014, and I remember I bought, man, your viewers are probably not going to believe this, but I bought 55 million Digibyte, right? I mean,
wow,
55 million Digibyte. Back then, of course, I think I purchased it at $50 per million. So, wow. Let me see, 55 million times a price of $50 would have been, it was about a $2,700 investment.
Wow.
I bought 55 million Digibyte for almost $3,000, Brian. Can you believe that?
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's insane. So what happens? Well, Digibyte was a pretty interesting platform. It still is. I mean, I still own Digibyte. But Digibyte is, they have 21 billion tokens, similar to Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin has 21 million, but they have 5 algorithms that you could mine with. It was somewhat a privacy token, right? It's public, I believe, so a public blockchain. But they, when they first came out, they were nothing. They were worth nothing. But look, remember I told you when I first came into this market, that was only my I was only in crypto for about a year up until that point. Actually, not even that. I was only in crypto for about maybe 7 months when Digibyte came into the scene in 2014, and Digibyte basically didn't do anything for about a year and a half. But then in 2016, it started moving a little bit, and Digibyte, at the peak of the bull run in 2017, I think it hit like 12 cents. So now I'll tell you, I didn't keep my Digibyte, unfortunately, because I sold all of it when I realized an incredible gain of only $1,500.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so basically I gave up.
Hey.
I gave up. Let me tell you what that 55 million would have been worth in the peak of 2017. Of course, you can't hit the peaks, right?
Right.
But at 12 cents, basically, and this is the problem in not thinking long term. This is the problem in not taking that risk to hold for a little bit longer, right? Unfortunately, I had to learn this the hard way after a few years of being in the crypto space, right? But that $1,500 gain that I made in 2014 was a $6.6 million loss for me.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, so just think about that, Brian. Okay, what's the percentage gain on a $2,700 investment? $2,750. Let's say I think that was maybe, let's say 50,000%.
Right now, it's worth 2.6 million.
Right. So basically, it was roughly about a 55,000% gain. Now think about this. What does Digibyte focus on? Digibyte focuses on what Bitcoin does, but just a different scale, right? They're just a different protocol, right? But they do almost the same thing that Bitcoin does. They've got a few things that Bitcoin doesn't, but it's a pretty cool platform, right? Well, look at Kin. Compare Kin to Digibyte, and you really can't compare it when you think about it. Now, they are two different market segments, right? So Digibyte is a payments platform. Kin is a more social app platform, right? So they're two different type of plays. But think about it. It took Digibyte a couple of years before it finally blew up. And could this happen with Kin? Yes, it can. Undoubtedly, it will happen to Kin. We just don't know the final peak price or whatever. But I'm thinking that definitely 6 cents is a very, very likely outcome for Kin. Maybe not for this bull run, but maybe for the 2025 bull run, it could be a very likely scenario.
Hold up, let's pause right there. I just want to pause right there because I've been trying to tell a lot of these people about what you were saying about the 6 cents. Okay, guys, you just heard from a whale who's been investing in Bitcoin all the way in 2013 when it was just $69. He already told you that his strategy that he did in Digibyte, he just bought all these coins that were really cheap for 55 million. Even on the bear trend right now at its lowest end, if Big Lou would have still held it, he would be at 2.6 million. I just calculated 55 million, approximately 2.6 million. So this is the mindset that I was trying to tell you guys, that you want to invest into these coins that are low market cap, but they're also high caliber because they're connected to like a high caliber crypto like Solana. So
right.
so Kin is basically the same scenario. What's going to happen like with Digibyte? Out of nowhere, it's just going to shoot up like crazy, and your portfolio will shoot up possibly high like Digibyte. But worst case scenario, look at that. He would have been at 2.6 million at the low end. Imagine if you would have kept that, Big Lou, that 2.6 million dollars now.
Well, look, Brian. If there's anything that I can help anybody with is, and I always make fun of myself because I tell people I should write a book and title it, I can show you how not to make money. and it's very simple. The answer to how not to make money in crypto is sell early.
Yeah.
Because this is where a lot of people miss it. Okay. This is, like I told you, it's a market that's flourishing. It's growing. It's branching out into all aspects of the globe as far as for financial, social, any aspect of a market that exists. This digital economy is going to, it's like what we call for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like the black hole to all assets, conventional assets, right? Well, all other platforms are somewhat becoming the same thing as Bitcoin, right? They're like branching out into the world, and the entire crypto market is becoming like a black hole because all the value of a lot of other assets are going to go right into this black hole. Why? Because it's innovative, right? It's innovative, right? It's creative. It's outside the conventional box of thinking for financial markets, right? So it's this new thing that is really permeating every other market that you can think of. Of course, it's still tiny, right? So, it's just insane. I lost my train of thought where I was going. Where was I going, Brian?
I'm trying to figure out what you were going to.
Well, what, you got me so far. I'm thinking so far out here that I kind of lost my train of thought. But the key thing here is that holding is the key. If you hold, you give time for your investment, and of course, this is not trade. This is not financial advice, right? We are not financial advisors. We are just a crypto enthusiast that see such a potential in this market that it's hard not to be a part of it, right? So holding is the key to growth in your portfolio. Yes, there are times when you should sell early, but if you were to take the long-term road, you're going to make more gains in the long term, right? Look, I could tell you, and of course your viewers may not believe it, but when Ethereum came out, I bought it at 45 cents.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I bought 7,000 Ethereum.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm upset with you because you could at least saved some for me.
Hey, Brian, if I would have just saved 1,000 Ethereum, I'd be doing fantastic, right? But what happened? I was new in the market, right? So
yeah,
you know, my 45 cents went to $1.50. I sold everything. I should have kept something, but you know, and I could go down the line. See a coin, 66 million, right?
Wow.
Red coin, 200 million red coin, right?
Wow.
I mean, so I was the king of having a lot of everything, but because I didn't have that long-term mentality, I never realized the financial opportunity that you could have if you would just hold, because the technology is going to grow. So what do you think finally happened a few years down the line? A year and a half ago is when I finally came to the conclusion, thank God, because, you know, God gave me the wisdom, I think, to finally understand that if I were to hold, I will make more money. And this is where I'm at right now. So,
wow.
You know, so yeah, Kin is along with my other projects, eventually it will break out. And when it breaks out, you will realize an amazing gain by just being patient and by just waiting, cost averaging. If you need to sell because you need to pay things off or whatever, you know, you need to do what you need to do. But the long term is really the route to go.
That's good. That's good. So this is what I'm trying. Maybe you could try to help me. Maybe you could try to help me understand why are these people not. Why is it that a lot of these people are not listening to me? And then their mindset is, no, I did my own research, Brian. I like Shiba Inu better. I like Hakuna Matata better. I like this and that better because I did my own research. But I'm saying, well, what about Kin? Well, what does Kin have to do? I looked at the research. They're not doing anything compared to what these guys are doing. How would you argue that to convince them if you were a Kin salesperson? I beg to differ, and here's why.
Well, first of all, it's okay. I mean, you know, I am not a Kin maximalist. I am not a Solana maximalist. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. But what I do understand is that there are over 10,000 different platforms in the digital economy, right? This new burgeoning, flourishing digital ecosystem, right? Over 10,000 different platforms. You need to do your research with whatever platform you buy. You need to feel comfortable with what you're buying. You need to understand what they're doing. You know, do they have strong communities? You know, that's a key thing, right? Shiba has an amazing community behind them. Amazing. And this is why Shiba is so successful, because they have a beautiful, growing community that believes in what they are a part of, and they're making it happen, Brian. I used to think Shiba was a joke, but then I started learning about it, and I was like, you know what? The community is what's making Shiba. The developer, the key developer, is also a big contributing factor to the growth of Shiba because they're putting their time and effort in the development of Shiba, right? And so forth. So look, there's going to be platforms that some people don't see, anything in it. Look, I was there. I mean, I thought Kin was nothing, but then I did my own research, and my thought and my mentality changed completely. And so, what would I say to people that don't see that with Kin? That's fine. That's okay. It's okay not to be a part of what I believe is going to be successful, as long as you believe that you've done your research and what you have invested your money into, as long as you believe that platform has something to offer.
No, you're too soft, because I tell them they don't believe in Ken, they're not my friend no more. But
yeah,
just kidding.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, everyone's gonna have their own platform that they really see value in, and yeah, I have my own opinion. I might think, well, I don't see any value in that. That's okay.
Well, this is my reason why, and maybe you could kind of back me up on this. I tell people is, when was the last time that you invested in a bull run and you had enough experience to set up your own exit targets and execute them, right? Well, probably never, and you probably don't even know. You're probably making up these exit targets, and none of them are probably going to meet it. So why? My argument is, why would you invest in 100 coins at the end of the bull run when everything goes up? You're checking every Twitter, every YouTuber, every influencer, relying on every word and then knowing when to sell. When all of them are just going to manipulate it, right? They're going to manipulate you to sell so they could buy it cheaper. And then they're going to pump harder, and you're going to regret. So I always tell them, I say, look, all these coins are good. Shiba Inu is good. There's all these coins that are good, but the reason why I'm going all into Kin because Big Lou is the only person that I know who's been investing since 2013 who has donated his exit target list to me. And that's valuable, because in the last bull run, I was in euphoria. I bought all the good coins that everybody told me to buy, but I didn't have an exit target, and I lost money on all the coins. So that's kind of like my argument there,
Yeah, for sure.
Like how many coins how many people they said, oh, you know what, Big Lou, I'm going to invest in this coin, and at the end of every bull run, they never take profit because they didn't execute their exit target. Probably 100% of them, right?
How many people personally that I know?
Yeah, person did not. Do you know, invested in the good coins, and they're like, no, I'm gonna go and invest in what I think is good, and they end up losing it all because because they didn't have an exit target.
I mean, look, I was there. I mean, in 2013, of course, I had no exit strategy. So in 2014, I lost a lot. Of course, I didn't sell it, so I was able to recoup it in the 2017 bull run, right? But in the 2017 bull run, I didn't learn my lesson either. So I was there with a lot of people that I know of today that don't use exits, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what it's like to not have exits, and but you really do need exits. You really, really do need exits if you're going to capture a lot of the wealth that is coming your way. I mean, I would never do it any different today. Of course, it's taken me a couple of years to finally get to realize that important factor in your investment is that without exits, you may not lose everything, but you're just going to have to wait for the next bull cycle to try to break even, recoup, or make an insane gain. But why wait when you can take your exit wait for the market to drop down, get back in with a bigger position, and now you're actually increasing your wealth by factors, you know?
Yeah. So basically, my next question is,
Did I answer that question? Because sometimes I answer questions I don't even know if I answer.
yeah, but because a lot of times you answer the question, but to add on that, how would you? What are some? I know it's complex. You would tell them go to math school, but what advice would you give these people? They're like, okay, you know what, Big Lou, we invested in your kin recommendation, but I have these 10 other coins, because they always message me, hey, can you ask Big Lou how much money I'll make with this? How much money will I make with that coin? And you did make a comment. You said, whatever you have in your portfolio now, multiply that by a certain amount. I know now that everything crashed down, what would be a conservative amount, based the fact that they have mid, low to high caliber coins, what would you say would be a realistic? We have 5 months left. How much money could they potentially make at the low, mid, high end, with what they have?
Just on there in general with their portfolio? Well, I mean, Bitcoin is very likely going to go 10 times its value.
Okay.
So when Bitcoin reaches this 10 times value, crypto in general, the altcoins in general, the good platforms for the most part, they will more than 10 times your value. They will probably 15, 20, 30 times your value, maybe even more. I mean, the tokens are out there that are just in the 1,000% gains, so I would say that whatever you're invested in right now, most likely, unless it is a horrible platform that has no community, no innovation, whatever, then most likely that's not going to happen. But for the most part, you could anticipate a 10, 20, 30, maybe a 50-time return on the altcoins that you own, when the altcoins peak out by the end of this bull run.
Wow, now that's kind of hard to believe. You're the only one that I know that says 50 times from the price now. There's another guy that I talked to. He said it's only going to be 5x, and a lot of people kind of respect him. He's kind of conservative. So
yeah, that's extremely conservative. No, I would. Well, think about it. Let's do a little math here. All right, so we know Cardano has already reached a previous price high in 2018 at the PD altcoin season. It hit a price of $1.23 or $1.30, I believe. So right now, Cardano's sitting at what, $1.30, I think. So think about it. If when Bitcoin hits a 10-time gain, Cardano is going to move in a more magnified way than Bitcoin will. And so 10 times would put Cardano at, let me see, 1.30 times 10. That would put it at $13. When you look at everything Cardano stands for and how it's actually even more decentralized than Bitcoin is, and you look at all the Goguen contracts that are going to be coming out in the future, $13 is very, very, very doable. But with the hype and the greed that's going to come into the market when Bitcoin peaks out, because this has happened in the last 2 cycles, Bitcoin peaks out, Big money takes their gains and they put it in the alts, and they want that greed factor by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times more. So they want to make more money, so they pump the altcoins. And so, I could see Cardano possibly, between, my number conservative has always been $12 max, but there is a very, very good possibility Cardano could $25, right? So that would be 20. That would be like a 20 times, right? A little bit more, maybe. So, but so it's not impossible. It's not impossible, because that's what we have seen. That is what we have seen in the last 2 previous bull runs. The money comes out of Bitcoin, goes into the alts for the last 2 to 4 weeks of the bull run, and it's over. But that 2 to 4 week window is where it gets really, really, really thick. It's where it really gets heavy with money going into the alts. And that's where people get caught in the euphoria, and they get caught in the, we're going to Mars, we're not going to the moon, and that's where the cliff is. The cliff is hidden right there, somewhere in there, but they don't see it. They don't see it, and they get caught up in that feeling,
Yeah. Now, do you think it's going to happen? So this is my mindset. When Bitcoin hits whatever 250, did you say? You sent me a text. You said you think Bitcoin's going to hit past 300,000 by December this year. Is that what you said?
Well, according to certain metrics, charts, according to some analysts, key analysts, especially Plan B, Plan B with the stock to flow ratio.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of other good technical analysts that are doing these charting techniques that put Bitcoin in the 280 to 315,000 margin, where it could peak out at. Now, you do have major institutions like Pantera Capital, or you have other big Bitcoin hedge funds that are saying we could see a 400 to 500,000 Bitcoin this year. That could be a possibility, but I don't think that would happen. But I'm not going to leave that off the tables. But if you look at a certain, I think there's a guy called, there's a channel on YouTube called Trading Genius. I think I sent it to you. And they saw this metric that I have not seen anywhere, where they look at the Bitcoin halving to the Bitcoin halving to the beginning of the year, and you do that consistently, and Bitcoin has hit a peak on what they call the beam bands, and those metrics, you look at that and you're like, wow, this is pretty consistent here. So for the 2021 bull run, that metric looks like it's going to be somewhere at the end of October, maybe a little bit before then, a little bit after that, where Bitcoin could be peaking out on the beam bands. And so if that happens, then yes, that could be a likely scenario. If that metric holds its value, Bitcoin could be hitting that 300,000 mark at the end of this bull run.
Okay, here's a question. Okay.
Look, Tim Draper always said 250,000. Man, he's almost on the money. Look, Tim Draper, multi-billionaire. He's the one that bought thousands of Bitcoins from the feds years back, right? He predicted Bitcoin was going to be at 10,000 in the 2017 bull run. Actually, 2018 is what he said. But what happened? Bitcoin went to 20,000. He said that the 2021 bull run, or 2022, would be 250,000. If he's right again, actually he was wrong the first time because it went double his prediction. If he's wrong again for 2021, we could be seeing 500,000 Bitcoin price.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like that is about the price that could be the peak for Bitcoin.
That's good. That's good. So you are on a scale from 1 to 10. How confident are you that when Bitcoin drops, altcoin cycle always happens after Bitcoin? Because I tell people that, and some people are like, oh, that doesn't mean it's going to happen this time. Like, what do you have to say? Like, do you think is that possible that it won't happen? Or you've been doing this in 2013, so you've been studying the performance of crypto in relation to Bitcoin rally. You know, altcoin rally usually pumps 2 weeks after. Is that true?
Okay. Brian, I would have to say 100%.
Whoa, 100%.
100%. Yeah. And the reason why is because of two things: greed and fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so that doesn't change. You will always have greed and you always have fear. Greed will drive the market up, fear will sell the market. And that has been consistent in these last two bull runs and last two bear markets. So, like I said, the only thing that could derail that for a shorter period of time could be an ETF, maybe. But I don't know if an ETF is going to pass through at the end of the year. But if it does, I might reconsider some changes in that theory, and you know, that market cycle pattern. I don't think it would disrupt it for too long. I'm thinking if we do have an extended bull run, it's only going to be maybe for the first quarter, because that 4-year cycle is really affected by that Bitcoin halving. Now, the more into the future we go into the Bitcoin halvings, that's going to change because more people will know about Bitcoin. Mass adoption is probably going to come in 2025, right? So things at that point the volatility just won't be the same as what we've seen in the last two cycles and this cycle. So, but as far as the cliff, as far as the law of physics, I'd have to say about 100%. You know, when that cliff comes, you're going over that cliff. If you go over that cliff, you're going to fall. You know, if you manage your risk and avoid the cliff, you'll be okay.
So, realistically, you think Kin will probably hover around this price, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a half a penny, until this December when Bitcoin reaches 250K, and when Bitcoin reaches back down, let's say underneath the 100K, and then the calm before a storm, everyone says, oh, it's over, Bitcoin is over. Then 2 weeks later, then altcoins pump, and then Kin will reach to the half a penny to 3 cents within 2 to 3 weeks after the bull run of Bitcoin.
Yes. So basically, let's say, for example, we only have 5 months. We only have 150 days left to this bull run. Okay. You know, so let's say Bitcoin sideways trades, but then, you know, somewhere in October, it starts to just move. Like in the 2013 bull run, you had 2 peaks. In the 2013 bull run, you had a $265 peak, and then you had about a $1,200 peak, right? They're saying that we could possibly see this again in this bull run. So our first peak was 64,000. So our next peak is going to be 300,000. Now, you know, that may not be the case, but whatever the case is, that when Bitcoin hits the top of that beam band, or even goes 5-10% above it, that is possibly where the peak is going to be for Bitcoin, whether it's 280, 300,000, maybe a little bit more. As soon as Bitcoin reaches that peak and it starts to come down, you're going to see the shift happen into altcoins. And that is where, you know, at that point, I'm hoping that Kin will already be above its previous all-time high of 2018 of 0.0014, right? A little over a tenth of a penny. By the time Bitcoin reaches that peak, and we have now the shift going from Bitcoin into altcoins, that span of 2 to 4 weeks, if Kin is out already passing its previous all-time high of 2018, we could see a half a penny to a penny, maybe a little bit more in Kin's price at the peak of the altcoin season. It is a very, very, very possible.
Yeah, and I know,
like you said, it could happen in that little time span. I don't know, where Kin could be by the time before Bitcoin's peaking out. If Kin is at a penny before Bitcoin reaches its peak, then yes, we could possibly reach 3 cents. Maybe, that's because you're gonna have so much money coming into the altcoins, it's not gonna be funny.
So you have your target. I know you had on your exit target, you had some of it at 1 to 3 cents. So does that mean if Kin doesn't reach 3 cents, because I know on one of your exit target is there, are you just gonna leave it there until 2025? Or I know you said you're gonna sell all of it by the end of the year, or?
It's a good question, Brian. I don't know, because I know that in the long run, Kin is going to do extremely well. So let's say, for example, let's say Kin reaches a value of, a penny, right? So you subtract, let's say Kin hits a value of a penny at the peak of the altcoin season. And then in 2022, when we have the sell-off, you're going to have a year where everything just gets clobbered. So Kin most likely will get clobbered as well. In a bear market, it would probably take something amazing for Kin to buck against the trend. But when Bitcoin sells off right after the altcoins reach their peak, they're going to sell off as well. So let's say Kin has an 85% sell-off. That's going to put them at the peak of the 28. That's going to put them at the price of 2018 all-time high. So I guess that's how you can factor whether or not you're going to liquidate your entire position, or if you're going to hold into the bear and maybe sell a certain position and cost average when it does reach that previous 2018 price of a 0.0015 or 0.0014. So I don't know. Each person is going to be different. I may liquidate everything. I may not. I may sell a certain percentage of it and hold the remainder for the 2025 bull run. But it all depends on where the Kin price is going to be at the peak of the altcoin season.
Right. Do you think they might be a late bloomer? I remember in the last bull run when all the alts sold off, probably around March, April, May, June, July, some coins just spurted out of nowhere on the bear trend. Do you think Kin might do that? They might just shoot up to 3 cents because they just added on the Binance exchange, and then they're talking about, like, I know Crypto Crow, he's talking about hold your crow because there's going to be a great fake out in 2022 that it's not going to drop. What are your thoughts about those two?
Well, you got to give these guys a lot of respect. Crypto Crow, right? You said Crypto Crow?
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, I love him, man. I can't wait the day that you get him on your show, on your channel. That'll be amazing.
That would be.
And he's in Puerto Rico as well. He's over there. So, but that like I said, I'm open to the possibility of markets changing, and there could be a possibility that things may not be dynamically as the same as they've been in the previous 2 cycles. but like I said, I would have to see what's happening in order for me to change my thought pattern on that. It's really hard, it's all you have to go on is what you the historical data is with what you got, so it's kind of hard to say, well, this is going to happen, it may not happen,
Yeah, right. One more question, because I don't want to take too much of your time. Maybe we'll do a part 2. We are already at 1 hour and 25 minutes. I actually have 1,000 questions. But let me just end it like this, because I definitely want other people to be excited, to be like, oh, I want to hear more, because you have such a wealth of knowledge in crypto. So this will definitely be a lead on to part 2. So my last question is, okay, the very most important question of all: how much of your money you're gonna give me? I'm just kidding. Most important question is, I don't know the most important question, but it's like this. Everything sounds good, Big Lou, but if I only have 5 months left and I were you, and I can only pick 3 to 5 cryptos to invest, low risk, mid risk to high risk, which one should I invest? I have $5,000, and what are your exit targets for each one? If you could just shoot off the hip. I know you say, well, you have to sit down and talk about it, but just give me a wild guess for just one portfolio. Hey, maybe the next interview, you may have another 5, but just something for someone that's listening to you that's like, oh, great, I'm so excited, I want to invest in crypto. How do I get started? Ask Big Lou. Give me 3 to 5. What are the exit targets? What should I buy? I have $5,000 by the end of this year. How much should I allocate in each one?
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Now, this is, of course, this is on the fly, right?
This is on the fly. And what are your exit projections?
Okay, so you got 5,000, right? So let's break that up. 5,000 into. Let's do. You want to do 5 or 4?
We could do 4,000. 4,000 is good.
Oh, no. You want to do 5 different platforms or 4 different platforms?
Let's do 5.
Okay, 5. All right. So you break 5 into 5. That gives you $1,000 each, right? So I think that would be a good way to do it. Mm-hmm. So definitely ADA.
Okay.
Would be one. The other one would have to be, I know it's risky, but they are going to come out unscathed, is XRP.
Okay.
Right? The other one would have to be VeChain.
Okay.
The next one would have to be Kin, for sure.
Okay.
And I would say on a high risk, I would put Shiba.
Shiba?
1,000 into Shiba, yeah.
Okay.
You need some kind of high risk in your portfolio. Shiba would be your high risk.
Okay.
ADA, VeChain, XRP, extremely blue chip conservative plays. Kin is mid risk but very good risk.
Okay.
Shiba is high risk but high returns if they blow up in the bull run, and I think they will blow up because of the community that they have. So you want prices with these?
Yes, prices with this. Low, mid to high exit by the end of this bull run.
Okay, low, mid to high. Man, you're really putting me under the gun here. All right, so ADA, let's give ADA a low of $5.
Okay.
A mid of 12, and a high of 25.
Okay.
Okay, with XRP, let's give it a low of $7.
Okay.
XRP middle price, let's say 15, and a high price. Actually, no. Let's do the middle price for XRP at 30, and let's do the high at $100.
Okay.
All right. For VeChain, let's do a low of $1.50.
Okay.
A middle of 3, and a high of 5.
Okay.
For Kin, let's do a low of 0.0015.
Yeah.
Let's do middle of half a penny, which would be 0.005.
Okay.
And on the high, let's do 0.03 on the high. On Shiba.
Oh, I gotta hear this. We got a lot of Shiba fans. I got Shiba.
Okay, Shiba on the low, right now it's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's at 630, I believe, maybe a little bit lower than that right now. I would have to say on the low, oh man, Shiba's kind of hard because man, you got me on the Shiba one. So we got 5 zeros before the actual number. On the low, I would say 0.0000. That's 4 zeros, and let's just put 5 on the low. And I'm just gonna give a high because I really don't know the mid-range for Shiba. You know, I don't have too much information on Shiba, but on the high, let's knock off 1, 2, 3. On the high, let's give it 0.0001.
Okay.
On the high. So it'll be 3 zeros and then a 1. I know a lot of people want to hear 1 penny, but I don't know, man. I could be totally wrong. You know, could Shiba hit a penny? I don't know. That's extremely high. I would have to stick with at least 3 zeros and a 1 on a high for Shiba for this bull run. And I could be totally wrong because really Shiba is a new play for me. Shiba is a new high risk play for me. So I wish I had a little bit more, numbers to. Well, you know what? Let me go to my exit strategy on Shiba. If you just give me a second.
Yeah. No
maybe I do have Shiba here. Be conservative for me.
Okay, yeah, conservative for you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you very much, Big Lou. I'm going to share this definitely on my channel, and I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of people that's going to listen to this because I'm going to share this in the whole kin community because I really want people to understand your thought process about why you pick these coins, and because people think, I understand sometimes people make fun of me because I say, why you keep talking about kin? And I can't really give them a reason, I just say because Big Lou says. So maybe this will convince some people to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and buy, Get to click on the link below to join our Telegram to get the latest tips and updates. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot, y'all.